Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Relics, and today free agency opens, and there's a lot of movement happening in the first few hours, as well as what happened in the past couple of days as well. So today, in this video, we're going to have a couple of videos, but in this video, we're going to go over some of the extensions that happened just before the free agency opened, as well as the first probably a couple hours of the free agency itself on July 1st. So let's get started. First off, Sean Durzi. You guys know, if you guys have followed my channel for a while, you guys know that I love him. Utah extended him when the Arizona Coyotes transferred to Utah. He was at a 1.7 mil average annual value to now a 4-year, $6 million average contract. And I'm excited for this because, I loved Sean Durzi. I thought he was a great fit for the Kings. Came up as a rookie and, replaced Drew Doughty when he was injured on the top line for the Kings, and he was probably one of the sole reasons we even made the playoffs the first year with him. So I thought for sure that we should have kept him. Fortunately, he was traded away, and of course that went to waste as well. He ended up being the Coyotes' #1 defenseman last year. But congratulations to him. Deserves every penny. I wish him the best. And then, of course, moving on, we got Max Domi extending in Toronto. He was paid a $3 million average last season. He has now signed a new extension for 4 years at a 3.75 average, and that's pretty exciting for him. He's been on the move, from team to team, and throughout his career, and wishing him the best, of course. I actually watched him coming into the league, and I thought he was a pretty good player, but unfortunately he hasn't had the best luck in his career. But hopefully this works out for him in Toronto. Moving on to Patrick Kane. Detroit extended him for 1 more year. He was there for a couple years for a 2.75, or was it a couple years? 1 year, for a 2.75 million average annual value. Now he is signed 1 year for $4 million straight. Honestly, I don't really see this as a good or bad. Honestly, the Red Wings are just kind of a mixed bag. You never know what's going to happen. They've missed the playoffs so many years now. Not surprised that the Red Wings don't make the playoffs again, honestly. They haven't really shown anything, fantastic. Trades, extensions, prospects, anything, that in that regard. They're just kind of in the mix in the bottom of the league. So not going to be surprised if they don't make it, but congratulations to Patrick Kane for staying relevant. It's only 1 year, so he could be traded later probably. Next up is Sam Reinhart, 6.5 average annual value with Florida. They extend him to a 8-year, $8.625 million average annual average value. I'm going to not get used to that. My goodness. In any case, it's about a $2 million increase from what he was already playing for. After what he's done for the Stanley Cup, this past season, not surprised that he got signed, but I never really saw him as that, that level of, cash. But at the same time, he was second in the league in goal scoring this past season, so maybe that's not a fluke, and he will be able to keep it up. I'm not sure, but hey, if it works with the Panthers, it works. And of course, when you win the Stanley Cup, usually your players go up in value. So him being able to score second most goals in the league, and then of course win the Stanley Cup, of course he's going to go up. So not surprised by this change in value, but congratulations to him. And then the free agency really got kicked off with some big names and stuff. Because this is all happening so rapidly fast, I don't even know if this is even order, so don't mind me. I'm just making up as I go now. Whoever came up, and that's where I'm going with. So first, I'm going to start off with Chris Tanev. Toronto signs him for a 6-year, 4.5 average. Not too bad. Honestly, I don't see Chris Tanev. I don't see the appeal of Chris Tanev. I don't know why he's so highly regarded in the league. Of course, I've yet to see most of his games, so I don't know really much about him. But the only thing I do know is he's like a shutdown kind of dude. But either way, 4.5, for 6 years. Based on his career stats and stuff, plus minus great, but as far as production, I don't see him as a 4.5. I think it's a little bit surprising for me, but that's my opinion. Maybe a 3 to less than 4, but either way, congratulations to him. Hopefully it works out in Toronto. And speaking of Toronto as well, Joseph Woll was actually extended as well. He was based on a $750K contract. Well, he got a little bit of increase. 3 more years, $766,667 average annual value. So it's just a small increase. What, 16K? 16K increase? That's not much, but obviously he has a lot of room to grow and see how they want to play with him. Overall, I don't really see this as a detriment. Obviously, it's almost league minimum. And then, of course, I thought Roll played pretty good last year before he got injured. So I'm a little surprised that it's not a little bit higher, even like at least $1 million. But we'll see how that plays out. Moving on, the Ottawa Senators and Washington Capitals made a trade as well. The Senators received defenseman Nick Jensen and a 2026 third-round pick for defenseman Jacob Chychrun. To be honest, I think this is an interesting trade. A D for a D, except Ottawa gets an extra pick because Chychrun's slightly better. He's a veteran, obviously, in the league now. Personally, I think Chychrun will do okay. I think the Capitals definitely need the extra offense on the blue line, and I think Chychrun could definitely provide that for them. As far as Jensen, solid D, and the third-round pick, works out for Ottawa, who, it's been on the bottom of the league the past so many years. I think it works out nicely that they get extra picks going forward, because apparently with the team they got, it's great on paper, but it doesn't work in the league itself. So that's just what I'm saying. Next up, Carolina extends Jacob Slavin. He was a former 5.3 average, now extended to an 8-year, $6,421,250 average annual value. I think this is great for him. Obviously, he is a Hurricane and is going to stay a Hurricane, so not surprised by that. As far as the price, yeah, I think he's worth that much. To be honest, I think he might have been worth even just slightly more, based on what I've seen and heard of what he's done. So I'm not surprised, but at the same time, a little shocked. Could have been 7, to be honest, if not higher. But congratulations to him staying a Hurricane. I think that's going to work out nicely for both parties. Moving on to Vancouver, they signed Jake DeBrusk to 7 years, 5.5 average. Again, these are all estimated contracts because these are just coming out now. So obviously, there could be a little bit slight difference in actual values, but 5.5 for Jake DeBrusk for 7 years. I'm surprised the Bruins didn't keep him. I felt like he is pivotal to their future going forward, considering that the Bruins have been losing veteran players, the past so many years now. Players like Bergeron, Chara, Krejci, I would think that DeBrusk would have been a Bruin for his whole career, to be honest. That's the kind of player that I saw in him. But I guess that's not the case, and, wish him all the best in Vancouver. But I think Bruins are missing out for sure. Seattle signs Brandon Montour 7 years to a $7,142,857 average annual value contract. Again, estimated 7 years for Brandon Montour. Obviously, like I said before, there's no way that Florida is going to be able to keep everybody from their Stanley Cup run, especially with the signing with Sam Reinhart. So obviously, Seattle needs a better team. Yeah, they had a great new season this year, but it's not good enough. And so personally, I think this is a great signing for Brandon Montour. I think he's definitely worth the price. He's shown that he can be a really strong defenseman in the league. I was actually surprised when the Ducks got rid of him. So seeing him now move from Florida to the Seattle Kraken, I'm actually shocked by that. But again, I don't think the Panthers could have kept him anyways because of the price. So congratulations to him getting on a good contract. Ottawa signs David Perron 2 years for $4 million average. And this is another guy who's been moving around the league as well for the past so many years. I know he was in Detroit for a couple, but Perron's just kind of like, your rental type player. You get him, use him, and then you discard him. And I think for him, congratulations for him. $4 million for 2 years, that's pretty good. Well, 4 years average for 2 years. So that's $8 million. That's pretty good for him, considering that he keeps on moving around. So I don't particularly care for Perron, but as the league, fame, I do recognize him as a decent player, and I think this is good for him. So congratulations to him. Obviously, going to the Senators is never a good thing, in my opinion, because they're always at the bottom of the league. So I'm not surprised if the Senators don't really go up in league status. However, you never know. That's the parity of the league. Any team can be good at any time, and I think this may actually help them with their bottom six if he is on their bottom six, but we'll see. Then, of course, the two biggest signings for the first couple hours, at least as far as I notice, is what happened with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Okay, so first of all, Nashville signs Steven Stamkos to a 4-year, $8 million average contract. And I'm actually very shocked. The Lightning let Stamkos walk. And per some rumors, I heard that Stamkos was asking for a $5 million contract, and the Lightning were only offering him $3 million. So if that was true, then this is a huge bargain for Stamkos. I mean, he got $8 million a year for 4 years in Nashville. That's absolutely amazing for him. He deserves all of it. I mean, he's putting up, higher point numbers than some other players in the league who are assigned to, just as much money, and yet the Lightning didn't want to keep him. I'm shocked. I hate the Lightning. You guys know that if you guys have been watching my channel. So I'm not going to say, good or bad stuff for them. I just hope they blunder and just sink. But I think it's a mistake to let your franchise captain just walk away, especially on these kind of terms. But it is what it is. It's a business. And, to me, wishing Stamkos the best in Nashville proved the Lightning wrong for not signing you. I definitely think the Lightning should keep their captain. And I think that's something that's too common in the league now, is captains, being traded or just let go, especially if there are newly named captains in the league, and then all of a sudden the next season, boom, they're gone. It's like, what's the point in naming team captains if you're not even dedicated to them? So I think that's where, for example, the LA Kings have dedication to their players. The Washington Capitals have dedication to their players. They honor what the letters mean on the jerseys. And I think the Lightning letting Stamkos go because they didn't want to pay him, I think that's a huge mistake. So watch the Lightning fall. I'll be happy. And then, of course, who do the Lightning go and get for that price? Jake Guentzel. 7 years, $9 million average annual value. So, because they didn't want to sign Stamkos, they went and got Guentzel. And this, to me, is actually very shocking, because I don't think the Lightning needed more wingers necessarily. I think the centers need to be one of the priorities for the Lightning. They love to use a lot of speed and skill up the middle, and I think Stamkos was that part of that equation, and I think Guentzel being here as a winger isn't going to help them. At least that's my opinion. So, biggest shocker here is the Stamkos and Guentzel deals, but overall, everything's kind of like everyone's moving, and I think that goes for every free agency, and this isn't over. This is only the first couple hours, and hopefully we get to see more. I will pick up with those in the next video, in fact. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you guys have a great day.